Professional teams are usually pretty strict about organizing their work into phases. When you're working on your own games, you don't have to be quite as formal as all that, but there are some things you can learn from the major steps in the process that professionals follow to work into your own approach. At the highest level, the game-making process can be broken into two parts: pre-production and production. The pre-production phase is all about figuring out what the game should be like. The production phase is when the game is actually made. Pre-production begins with a phase known as pre-concept. Pre-concept involves gathering the ideas you need to develop your game's design. This means deciding on your audience, genre, and core mechanics. It can also mean playing and analyzing other games or looking for inspiration for characters, story, and art style. The raw material gathered during pre-concept could theoretically inspire many different games. The next stage of pre-production, the concept phase, is about taking that raw material and developing it into a specific creative vision or concept for your game. Sometimes this can be done just by thinking about and writing down your design ideas, but this is often the step in the production process where a team creates prototypes, simple versions of key game systems or technical systems, as a way of testing whether or not their ideas will work. Sometimes these prototypes are digital, but they can also be paper prototypes made with simple real-world objects. Once a team lands on a solid creative concept, the time has come to move from pre-production to production. Production is when the game's code, art, and levels are made. But rather than work on everything all at once, most teams proceed through a series of steps designed to make delivering the final game less risky. These steps usually start with working on a first playable version of the game. The objective of a first playable is to create a simple version of the core gameplay and key technical systems to make sure everything works and that the game is actually fun. It's important to test these things early in the production process before the team invests too much time and effort, just in case there are adjustments the team needs to make. After the first playable, a lot of teams move on to making something called a vertical slice. While the first playable is usually put together with simple temporary visual assets and doesn't have every game mechanic or system the game will eventually have, the opposite is true of the vertical slice. Its purpose is to showcase a short segment of the game, say one level or about 10 minutes of gameplay, at full quality. The idea is to use this short slice of the game to make sure the level of quality the team achieves is acceptable. This is another important check early in the process, because if the level of quality isn't good enough, now is the time to make adjustments before the team makes the whole game. After this, the team works towards their next milestone, alpha. Alpha represents the first version of the game that is playable from start to finish. This means that all the game levels and features are present, though some things like art assets may be missing or not at final quality. And the game will definitely have bugs, lots of them. From this point on, the production process is dedicated to improving those assets and finding and fixing bugs, a process known as polishing. Once the team has a version of the game that they think is polished and free of known bugs, the game reaches the beta stage. This is usually when the team opens the game up to testing by a larger number of players. This testing always uncovers more bugs and polish issues that the team didn't know about, giving them an opportunity to make the game even better. And at this stage, the work is still all about improving. Adding new features or content to a game at this stage is risky. After one or more rounds of beta testing, hopefully the team reaches a point where they've got the game polished and bug-free. Then the game is ready for its official release.